Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry it's such short notice, but welcome in. Welcome to tonight's live. If you're new to the channel, you're like, what's she talking about? You know, I'm right on time. But if you're not new to the channel, welcome back for yet another round. I decided I was like going back and forth whether to do a live or not. I was like, should I go live? Should I not go live? Should I go live? And I was like, well, if you're going to sit here and you're going to watch, this court TV, Sarah Boone fiasco, if you're going to sit here and watch it, you might as well watch it with your people. So that's what I was like, well, I might as well just come on. That's why it's a little late. If you don't ever see me coming on at 9:30, if you don't see me on by 9:35, usually expect for me to be here. Unless it means something really crazy happens. And I usually will try to let you guys know on the community tab. But tonight was just one of those nights I just couldn't decide whether to go live or not. But I wanted to go live. I didn't get any answers today at my doctor's appointment. If you guys are following my foot journey, I went to the orthopedic surgeon today. He said metal is good, that's great news. I mean, that's really good news. It looked really good. Looked really clean, looked good. I liked what I saw. I don't know why it looked different today. The x-rays did compared to past x-rays, although maybe they were clearer and a clearer image. I don't know. Maybe they got new x-ray machines. But anyway, all of that is good and ready to go. So now I have to go to the neurologist and the podiatrist. So I figured I'd get that out of the way and let you guys know in the beginning because I figured we could let a couple people come in the chat too while we're waiting. But welcome in, everybody. Hey, Mary Beth. Hey, Groovy Nikki. Hey, PKC, welcome in. Hey, Tony. Hey, DM. Hey, Sailor. Hey, Jill. Linda. Hey, Yankee Kyle. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while. Hey, Wizard. Hey, Courtney. It's been a little while since I've seen Courtney, too. Welcome in. When you put it that way, maybe we should start going live. Yeah, you should. Just go live. I was like, man, because normally I'll watch this stuff and I'm like, I'll watch it by myself, do my notes and all that stuff. But tonight I was like, let's just go live. Let's just do this thing. Let's just do it. And if anyone ever starts a channel, make sure if you start a channel, do live shows, especially if you're trying to get those watch time hours in. Because I could tell a huge difference between the second channel and the first channel. This is my first channel. I could tell the big difference in the amount of views and how much it calculates. So I'm not there for monetization yet, but we're getting up there. So that's always good. It's always good, So has everyone heard of the Sarah Boone case? Is there anybody that hasn't heard of the Sarah Boone trial that's going to be going on here shortly? I do have a short yet to the point. If I can find it, I have a timeline I can go over if we need it, which is 4 pages long because it's not much of a timeline. Only thing that's been going on here in the last 4 years has been Sarah Boone writing the judge, Sarah Boone writing the judge. So let me pull this up really quick. Okay. And we'll just go through it and then everyone will be on the same page. And then we can go ahead and we'll get started. We'll watch this court TV episode I saw that came on. It aired, I think, last night maybe, but it came on YouTube earlier today. I don't know when it came on the first time, but it came on YouTube earlier today. And I thought it would be a good, trying to think of my words, a good way to look back on the case and get ready for the trial because she is going to go to a trial. She is expected to go in October for real this time. We've been saying that for 4 years. It's crazy. So they call him George in all of the, a lot of the news places, but his name's Jorge. Maybe they just thought they weren't going to get it right. I don't know. But his name is Jorge Torres Jr. He's 42-year-old. He was a 42-year-old man. He suffocated to death on February 24th, 2020 in Winter Park, Florida, after being zipped into a suitcase. And I went into, I was in Target today and I went down the suitcase aisle and I was looking at them because I have to get the one out from the shed. And I think the one that I have is bigger than Sarah Boone's. But I'm going to try to find some measurements. I wonder if there's any measurements online for that suitcase anywhere. I mean, we find everything else. I'll look on Reddit. But Sarah Boone is his girlfriend. So she was 42 years old at the time, but she was arrested the following day for second-degree M after agreeing to a police interview. She didn't do herself any favors doing that police interview. Here's a picture of her. So the background here, before his death, this is an old timeline too, but it works. Before his death, Torres had been arrested multiple times for alleged instances of domestic violence against Boone, and she had been arrested one time for an alleged instance of domestic violence against Torres. So Jorge had, well, a few, I think it was three or four. He was arrested 4 times, and she was arrested once. And the one time, I'll just go ahead and let you know, was the 2018 incident. We read through that in some of the legal documents that we've read over this case. We read over the legal document that said that he was trying to go up the stairs. They were in a fight. I guess she tried to choke him from behind. He spun around and he kicked her, and the heel of his foot caught with her eye. So she had a black eye. He had marks and scratches on his neck. So they hauled them both off that time. Oh, man. So February 20th, this is the day that it happened, or the day after, I'm sorry, the day after the incident. So on February 25th, 2020, Sarah Boone called 911 and told them that her boyfriend, Jorge, was dead. Sarah claimed that she went and her and Jorge had a single bottle of wine and then decided to play hide and go seek. She decided that they thought it would be funny to put him in the suitcase and that they were both laughing. She stated that when she went upstairs and accidentally fell asleep, she left Torres in the suitcase. Torres's death was ruled a homicide, and it was asphyxial. It was positional asphyxia. Positional asphyxia is what he died from. And it was from him being constricted into the suitcase and not being able to breathe. And he was telling her that. The following day, Boone was asked to go to police station for an interview. During the interview, forensic investigators asked for her phone. She willingly gave her phone to them, and it was searched. The search found 2 videos that Boone had taken the night before, which allegedly showed Boone laughing as Torres pled for help inside the suitcase, telling him that it was for everything you've done to me. Boone stated that she did not remember taking the video. There was a couple videos. Boone was subsequently charged with second-degree M for killing Torres. Held in Orange County Jail without bail, she has written letters to the trial judge stating that she has not been represented fairly. 8 different attorneys appointed to represent her have withdrawn. After the withdrawal of her 8th lawyer, Boone has been deemed to have forfeited her right to legal counsel and must now represent herself in court, unless she, puts out her own money for an attorney. She's expected to use the battered woman defense at her trial. A date has been set for October 7th, 2024. And I mean, that's her defense, and she's sticking to it. She's going to go in and say, well, he, hit me 4 times. But they're going to come back and say, well, you were just as guilty as him, honey. You were hitting him too. He's trying to walk up the stairs and you're trying to choke him from behind. I mean, that's pretty serious, That's pretty serious. Pretty serious. You're really trying to hurt somebody. You know what I mean? You really, 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 really want to get to that person. And if you're choking them from behind and they're going up the stairs, I can only imagine. And if you are being choked, I can only imagine you turn around, you spin around, and that's probably the first thing that you're going to do is kick. So I don't know who was guilty in that instance there, because they both had their hands on each other. So they were both, guilty. I think that they both just didn't show up for their court dates. So I think that when it was her court date, he didn't show up, to be a witness, and she didn't show up, to be a witness. So very, very crazy. He suffered so much, Linda. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely wasn't laughing. No. Definitely was not laughing. Oh man, no. He was asking her, please, let me out, Sarah. I can't breathe. Sarah, I can't breathe. It's just really bad. It was just really, really bad. So this is Court TV. This was closing arguments with Vinnie Politan, and they talk about the whole case. They go over everything that has to do with this case. They go over the new wanted ad that she has put out for a new attorney. She wants a new attorney. She's put a new wanted ad for one. They go over all of the attorneys that she's already had. And they go over a bunch of other little things too. So we'll watch this together. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. Sorry I decided to spring one in on you so late, but thanks for coming in and joining me. And who plays hide and seek as an adult? Exactly. And who hides at the same time? They hid at the same time. Like normally, one hides, one seeks, one hides, one counts. But they decided they were going to hide at the same time. They're going to hide together. Yes, how she just laughs at him. Yes, she does. I can't even stand listening to it. I feel so. I mean, it's like what's happening. I mean, that's his final moments. His final moments are right there with her saying, that's what you tell me. That's how you make me feel when you cheat on me, or that's what you do to me when you choke me, and just saying, horrendous things to him. I mean, if he put his hands on you, honey, and he did all those things, you should have walked out of there and called the police and been like, I got him in the suitcase. You better hurry up. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't want to, if you were afraid of him or something, I don't know. How did she convince him to get into the suitcase that's my question. I'm thinking that it was a game. Like she got in first and then she got out and then she was like, you go in. Like it was a trust thing. I don't know. Oh, what a horrible way to go. Let me know what you guys think. What would you get in a suitcase with your loved one? I would if it was Vincent. I would not think twice about it. But then again, I don't think that he would zip me up and walk away. Now he might zip me up. No, he wouldn't zip me up. He even knows I'll be claustrophobic. I would not allow that. But let me know if you would, because I would get in there not thinking twice about it. But then again, we don't have a relationship quite like Sarah Boone and, Jorge Torres is. Well said, hell no.
4th, 2020.
Sorry, that was really loud. Sorry, guys. Here, I'm going to play this now.
Sarah Boone and her boyfriend George Torres were spending an evening together at Sarah's home. The couple had a bit of a tumultuous past. Both had been arrested on domestic violence charges, but they always seemed to get back together. On this night, the two were drinking. But what happened next is almost inexplicable. George got inside of a suitcase that was then zipped shut. Why and exactly how he got into the suitcase is not 100% clear, but what is clear is that at one point he wanted to get out. He pleaded with Sarah to open the suitcase, but she refused. Instead, she turned on the video camera on her phone and started to record as George begged for his life. Still, she refused to unzip the suitcase. Then the following morning, she eventually called 911. She said she and George were playing hide and seek, and George ended up in the suitcase. When police responded, they found George dead. Sarah has been charged with second-degree murder. It's the trial that may never happen. It's been scheduled and rescheduled again as 8 different attorneys have tried to represent her. And now she's sent out a flyer trying to get someone to be her lawyer. What is going on with Sarah Boone, and will this trial ever happen? We'll take a closer look as we investigate the Suitcase murder trial.
I'm Vinnie Politan. Thanks for joining us. This story's been with us for quite some time, but I want to begin and talk about the victim in this case. His name is George Torres. And the end of his life was absolute torture. It was excruciating the way that he died. And this is a story that is hard to understand how it could even happen. But he's inside of that suitcase. And as he's inside that suitcase, he is literally begging for his life. Because the woman who purportedly put him inside there is the one holding the phone camera, recording this and taunting him. And he's saying, I can't breathe. No, really, I can't breathe. Let me out. Now, they both were drinking that night. But where's the humanity in this? For this man to die that death, and we've had experts on to talk about that, it's excruciating. So what has happened in this case? And to me, there is more happening here, right? Like, this is the case that, will it ever go to trial? We go back and look at the timeline of what's happened here. It was February 24th, 2020, right in the beginning of COVID, that Torres was suffocated to death inside of that suitcase. The accused, Sarah Boone, has had 8 different attorneys. 8 different attorneys who have walked away from this case. 8 attorneys who came out and said, yeah, I can do it. I'm a defense attorney. This is what we do. But they couldn't do it representing her. The next hearing in this case is scheduled for August 5th, and the trial is now set to begin on October 7th. So what has happened here? Sarah Boone.
I will say this real quick. I really don't know how he got in the suitcase and how they got it zipped up. I mean, and that's why I told y'all I'm going to do this. I'm going to take one for the team. I'm going to do a little experiment and bring in the suitcase as soon as I can get to it. It's in our storage. And I'm going to try to put my body into the suitcase, because I know that the one that we have is, I believe, and I'm looking into it because I want to know these. I'm going to try to find the measurement for that suitcase. But I think the one that I have is bigger than that one. And when we came back from vacation last September, I told you guys this on multiple lives, but I tried to put myself into the suitcase after I got everything out. It was because it was right around the same time that I think we started covering this case around that time. And I was like, oh, let me see if I could fit into the suitcase. And I didn't really get into it. Like, I really wasn't like doing it as like an experiment at the time. So I wasn't determined, to get in there. But I tried to get in and it was hard. It was pretty dang hard. And I couldn't get, and I wasn't in there all the way. Like, before I gave up and got out. Do you know what I mean? Like, just.
Because of her behavior, has really turned this into almost like a circus-like atmosphere with this case. So today she was called into court for a hearing, and she seemed a bit confused about why she was there. Check this out, courtesy of Fox 35 in Orlando.
I am thoroughly confused. Was a notice ever put online for this or mailed to anyone? I don't even know why Mr. Lane is here. I don't know why I'm here.
Well, ma'am, you are now representing yourself. And previously you had requested to appear at every hearing that was held. As you are now representing yourself, the court cannot have any hearings regarding your case without you being here.
Do you see Vinny's face? That was just funny. They put that on. They left it on him like a second too long.
She's now representing herself. Okay, so she's apparently in charge of herself, and the judge wants to go forward with the trial. I just don't know how it happens. Watching her behavior. Now, Fox 35 Orlando also captured this moment.
If we have to set a hearing, you'll be properly noticed for it.
In the certificate of service.
You'll be properly noticed for it, yes, ma'am.
And will there be a proper notice for today?
Notice was performed last night. I've
Am
already
I allowed to
explained.
ask the news crews how they got here?
No, ma'am, I'm not going to let you do that. They're not under oath.
He said that she was told last night, well, according to Sarah Boone, a cop came in, well, a jailer. It would be like Seth Rogers. That's what he does. That's his job. It'd be like him going in and kicking Sarah Boone's bed and going, "Hey, you got court tomorrow, Sarah Boone. Good night." That's how she found out, I guess. She's not very happy.
Not a party to this action right now.
It's wrong and it's unfair.
You're certainly entitled to that opinion.
She's not stupid. She's not stupid. I mean, that's been clear throughout all of this, but will this case ever happen? Let's bring in our guests.
He's speaking on his own behalf. I mean, I think she's good with words because she's able to sit there and think about what she's going to put on her little ads and her signs. I don't think she's going to be good at trial.
Get their take on this. Former assistant state attorney, civil rights attorney, and criminal defense attorney down in Florida, Sue Ann Robinson, also with us, criminal defense attorney. You know him from our coverage of the Karen Reed trial, Joseph Krowski Jr. Sue Ann, this is Florida. This is your territory. What's going on? Does this case go forward with her representing herself? Is 8 enough when it comes to giving her attorneys?
Yeah, I think 8 is more than enough. I think the Bible says, a man who has himself for a client, you know how that goes. So do I think she's stupid? No, but is she a lawyer and can she represent herself on a murder 2 charge? I don't think so. And I think there's confusion right now because the judge doesn't have a way to notice her because he doesn't have an attorney to notice. So the only way to notice her is to get them to bring her to court. And it's caused so much confusion for her, but it's a very simple issue. She doesn't have a lawyer to communicate, the court can communicate with, so he has to communicate directly with her. And the only way he can do that is to bring her to court.
Joseph, apparently now she's going to be given a laptop and 4 hours a day to prepare for this October trial. What are your thoughts about how that?
No. Wait a second. She's getting 8 hours, I believe. They said 0600 to 0800, I thought. Or wait, what would they say? Now I don't even know. Now I don't know what they said because I'm trying to do the math. I don't want to do the math. I'm trying to remember what they said. 0600 to something. Maybe it was 0800 though. Remember, we just heard this last night. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they are giving her a laptop to use between the hours of, they may tell us, I'm not sure, 4 hours a day, but I thought it was 8, but 4 hours a day is a lot. And she says, well, what if I have a question and I need my laptop at 3 a.m? Write your question down on a piece of paper, Sarah Boone. You got pen and paper in there.
That's going to work out?
It's going to be an unmitigated disaster, clearly. She's not stupid, and people that are similar to her typically
It was that hearing that they're going over right now is when they said it.
aren't. It's pretty obvious to me, and you see this a lot in the legal field. When someone cycles through attorney after attorney after attorney, typically they have some sort of a DSM-4 borderline personality disorder, and she fits all the criteria. She's not going to be ready to go forward with trial because she's going to need to put on a mental health defense. It's not a question of who did it or what happened. It's a question of whether or not she's criminal responsible. I think a lawyer has to give her some leeway and put up with things that you wouldn't put up with in another client. Sit there, get some gumption and fortitude and represent the woman.
Sue Ann, she has been locked up since 2020. So it's not like she's getting away with anything by not being able to hold on to a lawyer. She's serving her sentence seemingly on the front end of this case. How long can it go before it has to go, a trial down in Florida?
Yeah, I think the court is going to decide that. I think 4 years is getting on the gray-haired side of a case, and I think the court has said October 7th, and that's when it's going to start. Also, with her cycling through her 8 attorneys, it's important to note the court said, come rain, come shine, come new attorney, we're going on October 7th. That means if she retains new counsel on October 6th, that attorney is going to have to be ready to go. So she put out her ad for a lawyer saying it's an epic opportunity. I would say a unique opportunity, an interesting opportunity, and definitely a stressful opportunity. I don't know about epic. I reserve that for yacht weekends and maybe holidays with friends. I don't know.
And you see the suitcase now right here where it's at. Remember, it moves. And when we're watching the video, it moves. So the suitcase is actually going to physically move, and it's going to be the other direction. It's going to be on its top or on its back or its bottom, the actual bottom of it. I couldn't believe it.
About an epic opportunity.
So, Joseph, is this a defense? We know it's a strong case against her, but is it a defensible case? And if so, what would an attorney who had the case and staying on the case, what do you do? What are the avenues that you take to try to?
I have a question for you guys, actually. This is weird. I mean, it's just weird that I just now thought to ask this. Why would she move the suitcase? If she was the one that moved, I mean, that was a clean move. I don't know. I don't think that it was moved by Jorge that way, but why would she move it just that short little distance that she did? I wonder if I get a picture of that. I'll play this and I'll see if I can find a picture of where it's moved.
To present something in front of a jury.
Well, in that regard, it's not the most, look, it's a difficult case, but you have one avenue to go down, and you got to present a mental health defense because they've got the video, they've got her statements, they've got the evidence right there. But I certainly think that she needs evaluations, and she could put forward a mental health defense, but a lawyer's not going to be able to do that in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. It's been 4 years, so what? Let's do it once and let's do it the right way. If I was in Florida, I'd represent her without hesitation.
She watches court TV, Joseph, so you may
get a letter.
A call, and then Sue Ann.
Not a call, a letter. Okay, I have a picture of it that's really small. Let me see if I can blow it up. Because it's it was on someone's TikTok. Okay, so let me grab another. This is a picture of. Okay, so this is a picture where it was, we just saw it. And then so then it jumps frame because, it's like a cut in the video. I don't know if it's if it's part of video 1 or video 2, because there's 2 videos that were on her phone. But this is where the suitcase ends up. And in this picture, you can actually see the shoes beside the suitcase. So those are Jorge's shoes. I'm assuming they're Jorge's shoes because they were at the couch at one point. At one point in the night, they were over here by the couch. And then when the suitcase moves, the shoes are over by the suitcase. And they're no longer by the couch anymore. This picture doesn't show you far back enough on the couch, but if I can find a picture that goes back far back on the couch, I'll show you. But they might not. Might just be on the video.
And can put in and represent and let you come in from out of state, right? So the two of you could basically handle this.
Dreamcatcher, maybe she did think maybe she thought she was just going to be able to wheel him out. I don't know.
Case. I don't know if you want to.
Do it.
Yeah, Joseph would actually do it. Sue Ann, so second degree murder in Florida, what's it really about here? What's the standard? What has to be proven here for prosecutors to be successful in terms of her state of mind? Is there planning having to be involved here?
Well, there is no premeditation on murder too. I think a solid defense for her, aside from maybe a mental health angle, is the inebriated angle. She does not have the proper mens rea to actually have completed the crime. She wasn't in the state of mind. She didn't have intent because she's inebriated. The video clip that is continuously shown of her talking to him inside of the suitcase, you can clearly hear that she's slurring her words. The way that she's speaking is completely different from when you see her talking on the body cam. And, maybe she'll get lucky and have some jurors that have had a few rough nights, maybe not ended in hide and seek in a suitcase, but can relate to falling asleep after having a few bottles of wine. She can certainly go that route. She said she wants a lawyer that's going to maintain faith in their client. And I absolutely think she's going to have a lot of faith to go forward with the defense in this case.
And Joseph, I'll give you the final word here. And it seemed from her interrogation, she had no idea that she had recorded this on video. So there's some level of her blacking out as to what happened the night before. Is that relevant in a criminal case?
Sure. You know, I agree. I concur that the inebriation is part of the defense, but those complement one another. The borderline personality disorder that she's clearly exhibited in the inebriation, those complement one another. And I think, look, that's the only avenue. That's what she has to do. So it is a defensible case, but you know, Vinny, statistically, those defenses only succeed on a very small percentage of cases. You just had one in Florida recently, but they're very, very difficult to do.
All right, Joseph Krowski Jr., Sue Ann Robinson. As I said, she's been known to watch court TV. If you get a call and you're making an appearance, please just give us a little tip so we can get it, and it's not just Fox 35 down in Orlando who's getting the scoop.
Will do.
I heard Alan Jackson's trying to jump on board, though, so who knows?
You see, I knew he was going to do that. Thank you both, Sue Ann and Joseph. We'll speak again. When we come back, she has filed.
Is he talking about Karen Reed case? Is he trying to intermingle cases? Get out of here, Whitey. The white hair, white beard. Get out of here.
A flyer. This is an actual want ad. Inmate seeks attorney. So our own Cody is on the Suitcase case tonight, sending this flyer and going to the courthouse to see if anyone wants to take the case.
A former ballerina charging the death of her husband.
Said that she attacked her and she shot him.
She killed my dad.
Will the jury see her actions as self-defense?
Boy, did she have every reason to fear him.
Or murder?
The Black Swan Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings, 8/7 Central on Court TV.
There's other ways to win in more than one way. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not saying that I'm trying to remove her. I'm just trying to ask you, please, forgive me for having to ask you for this. If you could please let her know, please, to just be nice to me and have a welcoming attitude, and things will probably change.
Unbelievable. Sarah Boone wants her lawyer to be nice to her. That was one of the 8 lawyers. I mean, from the beginning, she has been reaching out to the judge, complaining about her lawyers from the beginning. And 8 of them have left the case because they can't get along with her. And she said, well, just be nice to me. And then she wants them to spend all their time on her case. She doesn't quite understand how it works. But she's been serving 4 years already on this. But now she has filed with the court a flyer, which is really like a want ad. Let me show it to you because it's pretty interesting. Inmate seeking attorney, looking for a prosperous challenge, ready for your close-up on national television? Are you zealous with a side of keen? Show the world who you are with your original creativity, extraordinary expertise, and confident ingenuity. Qualifications must include being trustworthy, client inclusion all times. That's a big one for her. Extreme efficiency in listening, because you know what? She's going to talk a lot. Capability of excellence and representation, maintaining faith in client. Epic opportunity awaits. Sarah Boone, inmate number 20005623. Invest in the oppressed, believe. So this is like a want ad, right? Inmate seeking an attorney. So what we did today is we took the flyer and we took our producer, Court TV producer Cody Thomas, who is on the Suitcase case tonight. You took the flyer, you headed to the local courthouse.
He looks
and
so
looking
young.
for a lawyer for Sarah Boone.
And Vinny, the best part about this story is that not a single one of these attorneys had heard of this case. So all of their reactions were first genuine impressions. Of course, they had a lot of questions. You know, how did this hide and seek game begin? How did he zip himself into a suitcase? I don't want to spoil too much, so I want to show you their reactions to all the facts of this case that I presented.
Who's this guy with the voice that melts you like butter? I know that, like, this guy sounds familiar, looks familiar, but I don't know where I know him from. He looks so young to be on the show, though.
To them today.
Let's take a look.
Let's see this.
Have you heard of the Florida versus Sarah Boone case?
I have not.
I have not heard of it.
No, it's Sarah Boone.
Someone was hit with a suitcase or something.
Let's watch this.
For everything you've done to me. Sarah. For everything you've done to me.
Man, y'all, Court TV people. What if these people are living in their happy, free, like they're happy, little bubbles, and they don't watch anything that's bad, and you put a camera in their face and say, "Here, look at this suitcase."
Sarah. You. Sarah. You. Sarah. Stupid. Sarah.
Hold on. It deleted your message on accident, Cheryl, because you put the periods in. Did she have the baby? Did your daughter have her babies? Nightbot, you leave Cheryl. You leave Miss Cheryl alone. Hold on, Cheryl. Let me get Nightbot off of your back for a minute. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Let me get Nightbot out of the. Okay, I'm kicking him out for tonight. So, and make sure everyone likes the video. Okay, I was like, oh my Lord. I just saw like, oh, you were saying your baby. I just saw like baby, and I saw like 2 pounds, or I said 4 pounds, and then I saw another 4 pounds. So I thought it was 2 babies that weighed 4 pounds each. Sorry, guys. Okay, I was like, hold up. Okay, well, Nightbot's kicked out anyway. So you have the floor tonight, Cheryl. You can run wild.
You think you got the gist of the video? You think you understand?
There's a guy in there, and he's still alive.
He's still alive in this video.
Yeah.
So what are your initial reactions after seeing that? That is Sarah Boone speaking, by the way, the woman's voice.
Okay.
And there's a man in that suitcase. So what are your initial thoughts after seeing that video?
As a defense attorney, I'm cringing at the fact that the client took a video of this, but does not look great.
My question is, if he's in the suitcase, how did he get zipped into the suitcase? He didn't zip himself in from the inside. Somebody on the outside zipped him in. So for her to be able to say, I forgot about it,
Well,
I find that hard to believe.
whoever that guy is, he's smart.
Defense attorney, right? She's gone through 8 public defenders.
It's the client's choice whether or not they want representation by those people. So, I mean, that's her right, unfortunately.
The defense attorney can't make a defendant do something. You have a defendant that has their own idea of what they want their defense to be.
They probably either think that they've got a problem with their case or their client, they just don't want to deal with the client.
Now, this is where we're going to get to the interesting part. A few days ago, she draws up this flyer in jail. I want you to take a look at that.
Well, she's creative, that's for sure.
Just saying that bottom line, it like I said, I think there's some issues mentally.
You only looked at it for a couple seconds. That's what you got immediately?
Right, immediately.
We know why.
She's
crazy. That's why.
If that's how she wants to get representation, I think she can do that. But it is not something I've seen before.
Would you take this case as she's advertising for an attorney, or would you?
Oh no.
You stay 100 feet away from it?
Absolutely.
No chance at all.
No chance. Absolutely not.
I don't know that I would take the case personally. I think it would take a very special kind of attorney to take this kind of case, for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Why not?
She's crazy.
Okay, I don't know which one was better. The girl in the middle, she's out. I don't know if it was the lady in the beginning or this guy. Which one's reaction was better at that? But those were both really good.
It's plain as day, simple as that.
And doesn't he have a good voice?
Looking at this, I can tell this is not going to be somebody that lets me do my job.
If you just close your eyes and just listen to his voice, I mean, it's like smooth like butter.
This is going to be somebody that wants to do the job for me, and if you're not going to let me do my job, I can't help you.
It would definitely be a large hurdle to overcome. I think, given it's on video, you can tell she's in the video and what's going on there. So I think that would be a very high hurdle to meet.
And then the case, if that's any indication of
the folks who knew nothing about the case, from He's going to want control, right? So maybe
I don't know why it skipped like that.
nothing about the case from she's going to want control, right? So maybe the best place is for her to represent herself at the end of the day. But it's going to be tough. What do you see when you look at that flyer? When you looked at that flyer?
Well,
this looked to someone I would hire if I was running for student council again.
Oh, well, I was going to say it looks like a Battle of the Bands flyer, like in the early 90s or something like a.
That's what it is. I said like a circus. Like, you know, like come and see the great whatever, you know, magician, like one of those kind of things. But he's like, it is like a band.
Garage band type deal. You know?
Exactly. I mean, she's got time on her hands, right? She's obviously got time. But the other mystery was that she was into court like the night before. You're coming in. We didn't know about it until it happened as well. But this is what we're going to keep our eye on. We're going to keep our eye on. But no way anyone's touching this. No. The 10-foot pole. All right.
100-foot pole at that.
Cody Thomas on the case.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. You know, when you think about this case, folks, it's been with us for 4 years, and we've been waiting for the trial to happen, and we were asking the question, will it ever happen? Well, it's all because of what's going on or not going on in the mind of Sarah Boone. And on the one hand, it's tragic, right? If someone's suffering from mental illness, it's tragic that she's caught in our system now. But on the other hand, the trial has to go forward.
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think this is not a mental defense. Do not give her that. Vinnie Politan, don't give her that. I'm sorry, but I know you got to be, I know I call her crazy a lot. I got to think of a better word for these people. I don't think she's clinically crazy to where she needs to go into a mental health or a hospital. I think that if she's guilty of this second degree, she needs to be put behind bars where she's been. She's been she's there for 4 years. She's been there 4 years.
Some sense of justice for the victim in this case, George Torres. As we said, he died a horrible death inside of that suitcase. We've got the video. We're going to play you the video, and then we'll get some analysis from.
When they play the video where it says, does the suitcase video tell us about Boone's psychology? On the floor right there, on that dirty floor, there's going to be a pair of flip-flops. You'll see them sitting there. And then whenever the video switches and the suitcase is moved, the shoes are over by the suitcase, almost like he was done, like he was unalive, like he was dead. And then she just like threw his shoes over there too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here, take these with you. Like almost like that. That's what it seems like to me. Let me know when you guys see it. But just make sure you look down below to make sure you can see the shoes. You can barely see them. And if I catch it, I'll let you know. I should catch it.
Our psychological experts to talk about what does it take to record someone as they're dying and do nothing.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case, and we were playing, and like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep, and I woke up, and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
I can tell you exactly what happened. He died. George Torres died inside of that suitcase because he was left in there. At one point, he's begging for his life, but his girlfriend, Sarah Boone, did nothing, did absolutely nothing while he suffered and was tortured and passed away in an excruciating death. So what Sarah Boone didn't necessarily remember the next day is that while this is happening, she's recording it on her phone. And we have that video. We're going to show it to you right now. It's a couple minutes of video that she recorded. You'll hear her voice, and you'll hear his voice from inside the suitcase. It's tough. It's tough, but it's what happened in this case. I've given you a warning. Let's take a look.
I will pause it whenever I see the shoes and whenever I see the suitcase move. So you guys will be able to see the before and after of it moving. So just make sure you see where the suitcase is now.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real or ransom. Might want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you chewing on me.
Sarah.
You.
Breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the up.
Sarah.
Oh, well, they didn't play it long enough, but to see the suitcase move.
I want to bring in our experts. Joining us, clinical and forensic neuropsychologist, associate professor at Pepperdine University, and author of the book, The New Rules of Attachment, Dr. Judy Ho is with us. Also joining us, psychotherapist and CEO of Life Counseling Solutions, Dr. Janie Lacey. Thank you both for joining us tonight. Dr. Judy Ho, where's the humanity here? What's going on? She's not recording and taunting as he is begging and dying.
What a difficult video to watch, Vinny. But it really shows a glimpse into her state of mind as he was pleading for his life. And you can tell he was really suffering because he could only manage to get out a few short words. Most of it was just calling her name over and over again and clearly communicating to her that he was suffocating. And it would just be seconds before she would even respond. And when she did, it was a chuckle and it was about, well, here's how you mistreated me and this is what it feels like. I understand that there's a lot of resentment and anger in this dysfunctional relationship, but the fact that she basically just sat aside and while he was dying, that those were the only comments she made really shows that the empathy is just not there.
Dr. Janie Lacey, there is history here in this relationship. They both have domestic violence arrests. There are problems that they had. It seemed that night that they were both drinking. There's, I think, an empty bottle of wine that was found there as well. What are your thoughts about that moment and this dynamic and how someone could not just say, okay, the joke's over, you can't breathe?
Well, you said it, Vinny. There's a history here of this toxic dynamic and coming up until this.
I personally think she got him in that spot. And then she felt like, I feel like she felt like a badass because she kind of was in the position of power in that, in that instance. And I think she got him in that spot. And then she started saying a couple things to him. And then she just was like, she just ran off at the mouth. She was just like, I'm just going for it.
This moment, as we're hearing her record him and watch him suffer, that we have to assume that she was disconnected from the reality of what was really happening and the intensity of her own emotion, of her own resentment and all the things that she felt justified and as we're hearing the dialogue between them. So as we're seeing that, we're considering that she's under the influence. We're considering the toxic relationship and dynamics and the intensity of emotions and resentment and all the things that she was feeling in that moment, that there was probably we can assume that there was a disconnection of reality, that she's seeing him suffer, but she's only thinking about her own suffering and not necessarily having, as my colleague said, the empathy of what her boyfriend was going through in that moment, because she was only focusing on her feelings and what she went through. And as she was alluding to, them having domestic violence and him cheating on her and these other types of things. So only focusing on the justification of her anger and allowing him to suffer in that moment.
I want to take a look at another video. This is a body camera video outside her home when police respond. So this is the first time she's speaking face to face with law enforcement. Let's take a listen.
We have a puzzle that we started in there. Okay. We've been doing art, trying to take the stuff off the wall to make new art put up there, like having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night. Okay. So then it's like we decided to play hide and seek, right? Okay. So he gets in the suitcase. Okay. Who is this guy? That's my ex-husband, my former husband. How did he live here with you guys? No. I called him over here. Okay. I didn't know what to do. Okay. I didn't know what to do. Okay. So then he came over here. Here, let's talk in private, okay? I called you guys. I tried giving you CPR. The problem is I fell asleep. When did you do CPR? This morning, when I found it. Before you called? Yes. 1 o'clock right now. I tried. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs, and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him, and I took him out. I tried doing CPR, and then I called him, and then I called you guys.
Did he get here before the fire department got here?
Who?
Your husband or
Yes.
your ex-husband?
Yes.
Okay. Where does he live at?
Right down the street.
Okay. So you were playing and who gets him up there?
I did, but then I fell asleep.
Okay. So, you're okay. I wasn't here. I'm just trying to figure out what
I
happened.
fell asleep, so I don't know if he suffocated or like had an aneurysm or a heart attack or
What kind of medical conditions does he have?
None that I know of.
Nothing that you know of.
None
You didn't
that I
take
know
any
of.
medicine?
No. All we had was a bottle of wine. Literally, just a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Doing
Well,
puzzles,
she's definitely
artwork.
still
Then we decided to
she's definitely still drunk in this video, Tony. Yeah, you're right, because she drinks out of the water spigot. I mean,
play hide and seek.
but I guess she lives in Florida. Can you imagine being hung over outside in the Florida heat? Oh, at the age of 42. Think about it. 42 and hungover.
That's all that happened.
Nope.
There's a lot here. Dr. Jane Lacey, I'll begin with you. Like her emotions and the way she's speaking, it's very like, I'm not following her. What's going on here?
What I would wonder about her and her history, especially watching this video, is potentially some type of perhaps personality disorder, the instability of emotion, and then to have to be able to call her ex-husband, right? So we also know when people have personality disorders, they have difficult relationships, there's instability of mood, they have strange behavior, these types of things. So as we're watching and listening to her and the disconnect of the time lapse of leaving him in the suitcase and what she was trying to describe as her sleeping and waking up and then calling her ex-husband, it just seems really strange. So my mind would go into understanding and trying to figure out, if there's been a history there for her leading up to this moment. And I would probably lead to some type of personality disorder that we're actually seeing as she's talking to this police officer.
Dr. Judy Ho, as we're watching her here, she knows that he's dead at this point. Like, she knows he's dead. She knows he was locked in a suitcase, but she can't put 2 and 2 together.
I know, Vinny. I mean, when you see the first half of the video that you just showed us, she's kind of almost very calmly just talking about their night before. Hey, it was an innocuous night, had a bottle of wine, playing with a puzzle, started playing hide and seek. And you notice where her emotional tone changed. It was when the police officer said, but it's 1 o'clock. I mean, It's a good question, because she's basically saying, well, this is what happened. And she's saying, hey, it's in the middle of the afternoon now. What took you so long? Essentially, there was a little bit of an insinuation there, maybe on the part of the police officer. And that's when her emotions started flying everywhere. That instability that Dr. Lacey mentioned really came out at that moment, right? Then she becomes really disorganized. She sounds like she's already defending herself, right? I was already awake. I just didn't get out of bed until X amount of time. So even though she can't put two and two together, I think she knows she's clearly a person of interest. And the minute that she feels she's being accused of anything, that's when you see the disorganization. And I have to wonder if that type of display is what's led, in part, all of her attorneys to quit, because they can't really work with her, because they don't know what to expect and they can't organize a defense for her.
I want to take a quick look at one other piece of video. This is from her interrogation when she's confronted with the video that she apparently didn't know that she recorded. Let's watch.
I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't, he's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out. Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before. Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And I wouldn't do that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him. So I just. Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's not that was not my intention. Y'all don't have any idea what I've done for him. But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you any appreciation. He did. Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
Dr. Judy Ho, you all don't understand is what she's saying. You all don't understand what's going on here. How about that?
Right. Yeah, so that's essentially a classic example of when you don't take any responsibility and turn the blame onto other people. You make them question their actions and their judgment. I mean, I think that the detectives in this case aren't falling for it. But you can see how when that attention gets flipped, the person usually that she would be targeting, now they're put on the defense, right? They have to explain themselves as opposed to her doing the explaining. And just the fact that she's justifying this, saying this is just how we are, this is how you are, you just attempt to murder each other all the time. I mean, what is she really insinuating here? But it's this idea of, oh, you just don't understand our love. Our love is so difficult to understand for the average person and you just don't get it. It's almost like she doesn't still appreciate the true consequence of what happened, which is that she inadvertently took a person's life, inadvertently or consciously.
Unbelievable. Dr. Judy Ho, Dr. Janie Lacey, appreciate your time and your insight. When we come back, we're going to take a look at that want ad poster that she put together, looking for a lawyer. The handwriting, very unique. We're going to bring in some handwriting experts to analyze that when we return.
Most successful true crime TV shows ever.
This is crazy.
Now has a new home on America's original true crime obsession.
And I feel that she is untruthful with me and full-blown prejudice against me, which I believe adds to her nasty attitude towards me. And I do not trust her. So I have prepared this for you. It's a letter and then a continuation of the letter from the video visit, so you are aware of. And everyone constantly blames me that I am the reason why I am supposedly on attorney number 8, which I am not the reason for any of them.
Sarah Boone in court talking about a letter that she wrote to the judge. She's written a lot of letters, but we've got this 7-page letter, which also had with it the now infamous inmate seeks attorney flyer that she filed looking for someone to represent her. And the one thing about her letters, everything is handwritten. And when you look at the letter and you look at the flyer, very unique. So what can we ascertain? What can we read into her actual handwriting? What does it tell us about Sarah Boone? I need experts. Joining us tonight, handwriting expert and author of the book, Sex, Lies, and Handwriting, Michelle.
I'm gonna put my 2 cents in first. Her handwriting on that poster, that is somebody that has way too much time on their hands. The handwriting that she writes with, most of the time it's a lot messier. Like she's trying to hurry up and get it. Like she's just like writing a lot. She's just wanting to get it down, you know? That's my opinion.
Michelle Dresbold is with us, and also joining us, handwriting analysis expert Jamie Mason-Cohen. Thank you both for being here. I know you've had an opportunity to take a look at this stuff and go through it. So I'll start with you, Michelle. One thing you were talking about was this opening paragraph of the letter and something with the margin. What should we be looking at? What does it tell us?
Okay, when you look at handwriting, and on the lined paper, you have a left margin. That left margin represents boundaries of society. When she starts out, you can see she writes past the left margin, which is normal. However, as the letter goes down throughout the 5 pages, she decides that she's going to disregard that margin. By disregarding the margin, what does that mean? It means I'm disregarding the rules, the boundaries that are set for me. So there it is right there. When you see, now, if somebody only has a teeny piece of, have to write and use the whole paper to get the message across, she has page after page after page.
And her normal, like this is her normal handwriting in the beginning of her letters. It's very legible like this, but then after a little bit of time, you cannot read it anymore.
Doesn't have to, use all that space. She decides that margin, or what we call boundary, is not for her. And that's, if ever you see sign. So that's what that going through the margin means. And I would like to point out one other thing on that page, if we can put that up again.
Absolutely.
Okay. I want you to look at that. Where's my discovery? I am still waiting for you. That first line. If you look at the word I, as in I am still, there's 2 ways you show yourself. The letter I, which means me, myself, and I. If you look at that I carefully, it's broken into 2 parts.
I don't know what's up with the sound, like it keeps skipping, but it's not me, it's them.
When you see the letter, the personal pronoun I broken, it's an indication of mental illness, that the person is sort of falling apart. You find that in schizophrenics handwriting, you find that in bipolar handwriting, and you also find that in split personality handwriting.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I didn't know, but what do you guys write? Like, do you guys write I'm, like I dash with the M when you're writing it out to be, because I mean, it does take less time, or do you write the I am? I think I write it all out. I'm trying to think. I'm on the crazier side, I guess.
Eyes throughout this whole page. You'll see if you look at it, the I is in 2 separate parts. It's broken. So what is she? She's broken. And it's right there in her letter I.
That would be very consistent with what she is presenting inside the courtroom. All right, Jamie, you took a look at the top of the flyer, this inmate seeks attorney flyer. As we know, she's gone through 8 who have left the case. What are you seeing here, Jamie?
Well, I'm seeing overall the font is meticulous. It's screaming out, I want attention. There is a certain aesthetic sense to it, but if you also look at the content, it is about flaunting this awful situation to try to gain a certain infamy. She talks about herself as not an inmate. She calls herself oppressed. She's talking about herself as a victim. So if you take this over-the-top flamboyant font and you connect it with the content, which is screaming a narcissistic desire for people to notice her, to be seen, then you have someone who is seeing the world from a delusional standpoint.
Michelle, You also noted something about her signature at the bottom. What do you see in her signature?
Thanks, Harlow. Sorry, I caught the tail end of it when she was saying it. Thank you. Because I was saying, I was saying, I do write it like that though.
Okay, can we see that? Okay. I want you the handwriting's fairly consistent size throughout the whole script, except for that huge signature, Sarah Boone. I don't know how you pronounce her now. Boone?
Boone.
Her signature, Boone, I'm so sorry. Her signature is overly large. There was another word, it was surprise, that was overly large. So surprise Sarah. And that's her message. Her signature is enormous. And what does that mean? It means world, look at me, I'm Sarah, look at me. Now, what else is interesting in her signature are those letter O's. If you see them, they're kind of all loopy. And it's also very loopy in the printed O of her last name. Your O is your communication letter. The clearer, think of it as like a mouth. The clearer and cleaner it is, the more truthful a person is, and the more you can understand their communication. The more junk.
Okay, everybody write out your O's. The more cleaner it is. We're going to go back and we're going to listen to this lady again. Okay.
The clear and the printed O of her last name. Your O is your communication letter. The clearer, think of it as like a mouth. The clearer and cleaner it is, the more truthful a person is, and the more you can understand their communication. The more junk inside of an O or A means the person is, I don't want to say lies, but let's just say doesn't tell the truth, and they make you can't understand what they're communicating. So those
I just didn't know, and it was like perfect. It like connects in everything. Like it doesn't have that overlay.
We look at that one more time. I'm going to show you something about a con artist, if I can. Can we look at this?
Yeah, we're going to put it up. You just got to push a couple buttons. This is the signature part, correct? There we go.
Just the same. Another thing, if you look at if you just look at that last name and you put your hands around everything around it, you couldn't really read it. When you have a name that you think you can read and you can't, it's not one that's a scribble. You think you can read it, but when you take it out of context, you're not sure what those letters are. That's like, oh, I'm letting you see what I want you to see. I don't know. And can I?
We're out of time. Unfortunately, we're out of time here. We will do this again. We absolutely will. Appreciate your time, Michelle Dresbold and Jamie Cohen. Thank you both so much. Before we go, we have a missing child who needs your help. Please take a look at the screen. This is Nyurka Diana Boots Rax. Nyurka is missing out of Coffee Springs, Alabama, only 15 years old. Since July 19th. If you see Nyurka, please pick up the phone, make the call.
1-800 or 1-334-895-5535. I kind of cut them off. I didn't know that they did that. That must be something new they're doing at the end of their lives. Missing persons. That's really a good idea. That's a freaking great idea. Vinnie Politan, whoever thought of that? I mean, I don't know who thought of it, but it's very, very, very good idea. I wouldn't want my handwriting like Dreamcatcher said, me neither, really, Dreamcatcher. I wonder, my O's do look really good, though. Yeah, it says Boone to me, too. I could read it. But that lady was very interesting. She was like, if I could say one more thing, and I'm on a cliff. I'm like, I'm on the cliffhanger. I'm like, what was she going to say? What was that? Now that lady needs a YouTube channel. But I know we all did a little circle there. We all went and got a piece of paper and a pencil and did a circle to see if we were truthful or not. More truthful people can make a better O, not as O-y, I guess. Because I think she does hers like twice and then like she does hers like almost like twice. Yes, Jan is missing tonight. She was here last night though. She was here last night. But that's really all I have for you for Sarah Boone for tonight. I just wanted to come on and share that with you guys. And tomorrow we'll probably go over a different case. I was trying to think. I thought there was a case in particular that I wanted to go over tomorrow. Oh, maybe we'll do Crystal. My brain just Crystal Rogers. My brain just went like exited the building on me there. But I thought maybe we could do that case. There's a podcast that's been out for a little while now, and they kind of go through the whole case, and that case is going to be coming to trial soon. So maybe we'll go over that one if that's something that you guys are interested in. I'll put it on the community tab. The Crystal Rogers went missing back in 2018 from Kentucky, Bardstown, Kentucky. And unfortunately, she has not been found, but she has been declared deceased. And they arrested her ex-boyfriend / fiance, whatever you want to call him, Brooks Hauk. They've arrested him on the charges of murder. So we'll see what that case has. Hobby Homestead, isn't that crazy? So the Sondia case, we covered that the first night it happened. And they actually just came out with, I think, new audio or something. I didn't get to hear it yet, though. I think that's what it was. So if you haven't heard the new audio, I think there's new audio. Mary Beth, that could be like just standing on your feet. Like standing on your feet could maybe cause that to your toenails, like standing on your feet for long periods of time. I know my mom's are like, not like yellow, but they weren't like as clear as when she got older. Or like as, I guess whatever color you would call it, like white or clear. The clear part was like kind of like faded or, like, I don't know. You know what it could be? Painting her toenails. Ask her if she's painted her toenails her whole life. Maybe that's what it was. My mom painted her toenails her whole life, so maybe that's what it was. What did I miss? Oh no, Phantom. Oh no. And oh no, I don't mean to laugh, but I'm like, I want to be like, are you okay? Where are you at? We'll come get you. But I don't think you're anywhere near me. Oh no. Phantom said my date took me to Long John Silver, so I got sick and his car broke down. Oh no. He used to do that. They used to do that to nails. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that's what it was. Like some sort of like fungus, like because my mom had like some sort of coloring, but it wasn't like a fungus. Like so I'm trying to like use my words because my mom she'll strike me down dead right now. She thinks I'm talking about her nails because she was very particular about her, especially her fingernails. They were all long and beautifully manicured. But could have been smoking cigarettes. Yeah. Smoking cigarettes could be another one. My mom smoked for a long time. She quit for like 7 years before she died, though. Now that we're like digging up reasons, I'm like, this could be a reason. This could be a reason for it too. I just know, like when I was thinking of my mom, I think of standing on my feet all damn day. Poor mom. My mom was a waitress her whole life, so she did. She stood on her feet all day. But thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I'll be back on tomorrow. So don't y'all worry about that. I know it's a little late tonight. Sorry about that, guys. But thank you guys for coming in and visiting. I do appreciate it. If you guys have any questions over Sarah Boone, drop them in the comments below or the chat, and I'll answer them for you guys as much as we can. If you want to listen to any more of this case, we've been covering this case for over a year. So we have plenty of videos to get caught up on if you want to look at those documents, the whole case. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful day tomorrow. And hopefully it's beautiful where you guys are tomorrow. And it better be beautiful here because it's been raining nasty today. So I will see you guys all later. Bye, guys.